Hello everyone. In this video I am going to discuss about types of carbon atoms and types of hydrogen atoms. So carbon atoms, based on the connectivity, carbon atoms are mainly classified into four types. What are those? Primary carbon atom, secondary carbon atom, tertiary carbon atom and quaternary carbon atom. Then what is the primary, what is secondary, what is tertiary and what is quaternary? I'll explain. Secondary carbon atom is represented by 2 degree, tertiary atom is represented by 3 degree, quaternary atom is represented by 4 degree. First one, what is primary carbon atom? The carbon atom which is directly attached to only one carbon atom, that is called primary carbon atom. The carbon which is directly attached to only one other carbon atom is known as primary carbon. So that means in which one carbon is attached to only one carbon, other carbon. So that is primary carbon. Example, CH3 bond CH3, ethane molecule I have taken. So in which total how many carbons are there? 2 carbon atoms are there. So with respect to connectivity, we can explain given carbon is primary carbon or secondary carbon or tertiary carbon. So in this carbon atom is directly attached to how many carbons? Only one carbon atom. So that's why this carbon is belongs to primary. What about this carbon? Carbon is attached to only one carbon, this one also. So that carbon is called primary carbon. Then what about secondary? The carbon atom which is directly attached to 2 other carbon atoms, that is called secondary carbon. The carbon atom which is directly attached to 3 other carbon atoms, that is called tertiary carbon atom. Suppose if carbon atom is attached to directly 4 other carbon atoms, that is called quaternary carbon atom. I'll give you definitions also. Note number 2. The carbon atom which is directly attached to two other carbon atoms is known as secondary carbon atom. We'll discuss some examples. CH3, CH2, CH3. I have taken propane. So total how many carbon atoms are there? 3 carbon atoms. With respect to connectivity, how many type of carbon atoms are there? So in which if you take this carbon atom, if you observe this one, carbon is attached to only one carbon. So this carbon atom is called primary carbon atom. Suppose if you take this carbon atom also connected to only one carbon, this is primary carbon atom. What about this one? This carbon atom is attached to left side one carbon, right side one carbon, 2 carbon atoms. Carbon is attached to directly 2 carbon atoms, that's why this carbon is belongs to secondary. So in the given compound, in the given molecule, how many primary carbon atoms are there? 2 primary carbon atoms are there, 1 secondary carbon atom is there. Then what is the tertiary carbon atom? Note number 3. I'll give you more examples after explanation. The carbon atom which is directly attached to three other carbon atoms. is known as tertiary carbon. Tertiary carbon and quaternary carbon is connected to 4 other carbon atoms. Example. I have taken one example. What is the name of this one? That one, isobutane. IUPAC name is 2-methylpropane. Of course, in nomenclature I will discuss name of the compound. Then in this, carbon atom is directly attached to only one carbon. This is primary. This carbon atom is attached to 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms. This is tertiary carbon atom. This carbon atom is directly attached to only one carbon atom. This is primary carbon atom. Carbon atom is directly attached to only one carbon atom. This is also primary carbon atom. Then in this example, how many questions we can generate? First one, number of primary carbon atoms. So that means what? How many primary carbon atoms are there in the given molecule? How many primary carbon atoms are there? This is one primary, this is second primary, one more primary, this is one more primary. Total 3 primary atoms, three primary carbons are there. Next one, in this molecule, in this example, how many tertiary carbon atoms are there? Number of tertiary carbon atoms. How many tertiary carbon atoms are there? Only one tertiary carbon atom is there. So that I am writing only one tertiary. So this is about the tertiary carbon, secondary carbon and primary carbon. What is the last one? Quaternary carbon. Note number 4. So regarding quaternary carbon atom, the carbon which is directly attached to four other carbon atoms. Is known as quaternary carbon. So quaternary carbon is represented by 4 degree. One example we will discuss here. I have taken one example. So in the given compound, quaternary carbon is there or not? We can identify here. Total how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons are there. So 5 carbons are there in the given molecule, but all 5 carbons are what type of carbons? If you observe this carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. If you observe this carbon is connected to only one carbon. This is primary. If you observe this carbon atom is attached to only one carbon atom. This is also called primary carbon atom. This carbon atom is directly attached to only one carbon. This also belongs to primary. What about this one? This carbon atom is directly attached to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this carbon atom is quaternary carbon atom. Then, so in this example, how many type of questions we can generate? In the given compound, in the given molecule, how many type of carbon atoms are there? That is the first question. How many type of carbon atoms are there? 2 type of carbon atoms are there. What are those? Primary type and quaternary type. Then one more question. How many primary carbon atoms are there? Number of primary carbon atoms. How many are there? 4 are there. How many quaternary carbon atoms are there? Only one quaternary carbon is there. Then we will discuss based on this. They're all points. Means primary and secondary and tertiary and quaternary. Based on these are all definitions and explanation. Then we will discuss some more examples which are useful for you. Example. I have taken isopentane, of course, nomenclature later. In the given example, how many primary carbon atoms are there? How many secondary carbon atoms are there? Then how many tertiary carbon atoms are there? How many quaternary carbon atoms are there? We'll discuss. And along with that one, any different type of questions can we frame? We can check. First one, number of primary carbon atoms. Number of secondary carbon atoms. Number of tertiary carbon atoms. Number of quaternary carbon atoms. So these are general questions. First of all, I'll give the explanation of this one. Then, is there any other questions are possible with this example? We'll discuss. Number of primary carbon atoms. So we know definition. Carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. Then what about this one? This carbon atom is attached to 1, 2, 3 other carbon atoms. This is tertiary. Carbon atom is directly attached to 2 other carbon atoms. This is secondary. Carbon atom is connected to only one carbon atom. This is primary. Carbon atom is directly attached to only one carbon. This is primary. So now, number of primary carbon atoms in the given molecule. How many primary carbon atoms are there? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So total how many? 3 only. Number of secondary carbon atoms. How many secondary carbon atoms are there? Only 1. In the given example, only 1 secondary carbon atom is there. Then tertiary. 1 tertiary carbon atom is there in the given example. Number of quaternary carbon atoms. So quaternary carbon means what? The carbon atom which is directly attached to 4 other carbon atoms. But in the given example, there is no quaternary carbon atom because carbon is not connected to any 4 carbon atoms. Maybe connected to 1 carbon, 2 carbons or 3 carbon atoms. There is no quaternary carbon atom. So here number of quaternary carbon atoms are 0. Now, so one more question we can frame. What is the question? One more question. In the given example, how many type of carbon atoms are there? Given example, how many type of carbon atoms are there? How many type of carbon atoms are there? Here, primary 3 primary carbon atoms are there. 1 secondary carbon atom is there. 1 tertiary carbon atom. Total types 3 types. What are those? Primary, secondary, tertiary. But in this, quaternary carbon is not possible, not available. So what is the answer here? 3 type of carbon atoms are there. 3 types of carbon atoms are possible. How many type of carbon atoms? 3 type of carbon atoms. Then, is there any other question possibility with that example? We'll see. One more question I am framing. I am framing one more question with that. Then, primary is possible, secondary only 1 is there and tertiary only 1 is there. So, tertiary 1 and primary 1. Sorry, secondary 1, tertiary 1. But what about primary? Primary 3 are there. So, primary 3 primary carbon atoms are there. Then we can check now all primary carbon atoms are same or not. So, here question I am framing, how many types of primary carbon atoms are present? How many types of primary carbon atoms are possible? So, here total primary carbon atoms are 3. How many type of primary carbon atoms? How do we have to check in this? If we take this one, this primary, this is the primary. 3 primary carbon atoms are there. But how many type of primary carbon atoms are possible? How do you understand that one? Based on the connectivity of the carbon. This carbon atom if you take, this carbon atom is connected to which carbon? Tertiary. This carbon atom is connected to which carbon? Tertiary. So that means these two primary carbon atoms are same. What about this one? This primary carbon atom is connected to secondary carbon atom. So that means based on the connectivity of the primary carbon atom, so in this example, total two type of primary carbon atoms are possible. So total how many primary carbon atoms? Two types of primary carbon atoms are possible. Then one more example we'll see. In last example I gave you clear explanation, then little fast we can do this example. Primary carbon atoms, number of primary carbons, number of secondary carbons, number of tertiary carbons, number of quaternary carbons. Now tell me how many primary carbon atoms are there? Carbon is attached to only one carbon, this is primary. Carbon is attached to only one carbon, this is primary. Carbon atom is directly connected to only one carbon atom, primary. It is attached to two other carbon atoms, this is secondary. It is attached to only one carbon atom, this is primary. It is attached to 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 degree quaternary. So number of primary carbon atoms, how many primary carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 primary carbon atoms are there. Secondary carbon atom 1 is there. Tertiary is 0, there is no tertiary carbon. Then quaternary carbon atom 1. So in this number of quaternary carbon atoms, how many? Only one. How many type of quaternary carbon atoms are there? Only one, because only one type is there. Because number of carbon atoms only one. But how many type of primary carbon atoms are possible? We can identify here, because here primary carbon atoms 4 are there. In the given example, primary carbon atoms are 4, secondary carbon atoms are 1, tertiary carbon atoms are 0. What about quaternary carbon atoms? Only 1. So this we understood. But other than this, how many questions we are able to frame? Question number 1. How many types of primary carbon atoms are possible? Possible in the given above example. We'll see. So how do we have to explain? Based on the connectivity only. Here this primary carbon atom is directly connected to quaternary. This primary also connected to quaternary. This primary is connected to quaternary. So these three primary carbon atoms are same carbon atoms. So that is one. What about this one? Primary carbon atom is connected to whom? Secondary carbon. These three are connected to quaternary carbon. This is connected to secondary carbon. So based on connectivity, there are two type of primary carbon atoms are there. 1 plus 1, that equal to 2. Then why do we have to learn this one? Whenever we are going to do the reactions, for example substitution reactions, chlorination reaction or bromination reaction, how many type of products are possible? In halogenation, chlorination, bromination. So based on the this question only, number of possible products will be found. That's the reason we should discuss here. One more example. Here, so based on the carbon connectivity only, we have to discuss that carbon belongs to which category. This carbon atom is either double bond or triple bond, whatever it is connected to how many carbon atom? That is the matter. It is connected to only one carbon, this is primary. It is connected to 1, 2, 3 other carbon atom, this is tertiary. This carbon atom is attached to 1, 2, 3 other carbon atom, this is tertiary. This carbon is directly attached to two other carbon atoms, this is secondary. This is attached to only one carbon atom, primary. This is attached to only one carbon atom, this is primary. This is attached to only one carbon atom, this is primary. Then, so one thing is completed. What is that one? Number of primary carbon atoms, number of secondary carbon atoms, number of tertiary carbon atoms, we can easily identify. So primary carbon atoms, number of primary carbon atoms. How many are there? 1, 2, 3. Then, so here only I am framing one question. Types of primary carbon atoms in the given example. This is primary. It is connected to whom? Tertiary. It is connected to whom? Tertiary. Here previously I discussed about this example. These three primary carbons are connected to quaternary carbon atom. That means with respect to connectivity, these three are same. I have taken like that. But in this case, with respect to connectivity, this is connected to tertiary, but this is connected to tertiary. Both are connected to tertiary only. That means is these two carbons are those two carbons are belongs to same category? No. Why? This carbon is connected to, this primary carbon is connected to this carbon with double bond. This primary carbon is connected to this carbon with single bond. So with respect to that one also, we can differentiate types of carbon atoms. Then what about this primary is connected to secondary carbon with a triple bond. So all primary carbons are different type of primary carbon atoms. That's why, what is the answer for this? Three types of carbon atoms are possible. Next, one more, number of secondary carbon atoms. How many secondary carbon atoms are possible in the given example? It is attached to only two carbon atoms. This is secondary. Only one is there. That is 1. So whenever only one is possible, we can't identify this question. Types of secondary carbon atoms question is not valid. Next one, number of tertiary carbon atoms. How many tertiary carbon atoms are possible? Then here one tertiary, here one tertiary. Total 2 tertiary carbon atoms are possible. Then whenever more than one primary or more than one secondary, more than one tertiary, more than one quaternary possibility is there, then we will go for the next question. Types of tertiary carbon atoms. Why it is possible? Because here more than one tertiary carbons are possible. That's the reason. Types of tertiary carbon atoms. So how many type of tertiary carbon atoms are possible in the given example? So what is the answer? Is this 1 or 2? Then this tertiary carbon is double bond carbon. This tertiary carbon is single bond carbon. One explanation is enough. So total how many are possible? 2 are possible. Some more examples we'll see. Example. I have taken one compound. What is the name of that compound? 3,3 diethyl pentane. So name of the compound later we'll discuss. Now I am discussing about number of primary carbon atoms, number of secondary carbon atoms, number of tertiary carbon atoms, number of quaternary carbon atoms. Then here, this is the carbon. In the given example, this is the carbon, this is the carbon, this is also carbon, this is also carbon, here one carbon. Total how many carbon atoms are there in the given example? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the given example, total 9 carbon atoms are there. Then how many type of primary carbon atoms are there? How many primary carbon atoms are there? Number of primary carbon atoms, number of secondary, number of tertiary, and number of quaternary we can identify. Then here number of primary carbon atoms. Number of secondary carbon atoms. Number of tertiary carbon atoms. Number of quaternary carbon atoms. Then, in the given example, total 9 carbons are there. This carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. This carbon is attached to two other carbon. This is secondary. This carbon is attached to 1, 2, 3, 4 other carbon atoms. This is quaternary. Carbon is attached to 1, 2 other carbon atoms. Secondary. Carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. Carbon is attached to 2 other carbon atoms. That is secondary. Carbon is attached to only one carbon atom. Primary. Carbon is attached to 1, 2 other carbon atoms. This is secondary. Carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. Then, number of primary carbon atoms. How many are there? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 primary carbon atoms are there. Number of secondary? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also 4. Number of tertiary? There is no tertiary carbon atom. 0. Number of quaternary carbon atoms? 1. Now, here quaternary carbon atoms are only 1. That's why no need to identify types of quaternary carbon atoms. Here secondary carbon atoms, how many? 4. We can identify types of secondary carbon atoms. Primary carbon atoms are 4. Here also that question is valid. Types of primary carbon atoms, question is valid. Then shall we identify number of primary carbon atoms? This primary is connected to secondary, this primary is connected to secondary, this primary is connected to secondary, this primary also connected to secondary. So all primary carbon atoms are same. That's why only one type of primary carbon atoms are possible. Then what about secondary carbon atom? Every secondary carbon atom, if you observe, all secondary carbon atoms are connected to primary carbon and quaternary carbon. That's why quaternary carbon atom also same only. So that means how many type of quaternary carbon atoms are there? Only one type. That's why no need to write that question separately. One more example. Will you try this example? What is the name of the compound? In nomenclature we will discuss. I have taken one compound. Then number of primary carbon atoms, number of secondary carbon atoms, number of tertiary carbon atoms, we can identify in which. Then this carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is primary. This is connected to only one carbon. This is also primary. This is attached to only one carbon. Primary. This is attached to only one carbon. Primary. This is attached to only one carbon. Primary. This is also attached to only one carbon. This is primary. Then secondary. What about this? This is attached to one carbon and one more carbon. This is secondary. Here also connected to 2 other carbon atoms. Secondary. Then what about this? It is connected to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is quaternary carbon atom. What about this one? Is connected to 3 other carbon atom. Tertiary. This is connected to 1, 2, 3 other carbon atom. Tertiary. This is connected to 1, 2 carbon atoms. Secondary. This is also secondary. What about this? Is connected to 1, here 2 and here 3. Tertiary carbon atom. This is connected to 3 other carbon atoms. Tertiary. This one also tertiary. Here carbon is connected to 3 carbon atoms. Carbon is connected to 2 carbon atoms. Carbon is connected to 2 carbon atoms. Secondary. Now we can identify now number of primary carbon atoms. Number of secondary carbon atom. Number of tertiary carbon atoms. Number of quaternary carbon atoms. How many primary carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 primary carbon atoms are there. Then Number of secondary carbon atoms. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of tertiary. Tertiary also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of quaternary carbon atoms. How many quaternary carbon atoms are there? Only 1. Then what are the next questions? Here more than one primary carbon atoms are there, more than one secondary carbon atoms are there, more than one tertiary carbon atoms are there. Then you can identify types of primary carbon atoms, types of secondary carbon atoms, types of tertiary carbon atoms. One example I'll give you here. Tertiary carbon atoms. How many type of tertiary carbon atoms are there? Suppose this tertiary carbon is connected to whom? Quaternary. This tertiary carbon is connected to whom? Quaternary carbon and tertiary. Quaternary carbon, tertiary. These two are same, one type. What about this one? This tertiary is connected to tertiary secondary. This tertiary is connected to tertiary secondary. So this is one type. What about this one? This is connected, this tertiary is connected to two secondaries. Not only that, this tertiary belongs to 3-membered ring. So this tertiary also different. That equal to 3 type. So one question from this example, how many type of tertiary carbon atoms are possible in the given example? How many type? 3 type. Like that, can you identify number of types of primary carbon atoms, types of secondary carbon atoms also you can identify. Okay, this is the explanation about the types of carbon atoms. Then next topic is types of hydrogen atoms.